Do I have a motion? Okay. Come back in. All right, so we have a motion to come back into regular session.
Motion to come back in.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Nelson to come back into regular session. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Massey. Any amendments, changes? No. Mr. Donovan, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I vote yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
all in favor. Okay, back into regular session. Next on the agenda is potential action regarding matters discussed in executive session.
I make a motion that the town council issue the memorandum to town manager Janet Todd that it is a notice of intent of dismissal as town manager and termination of employment.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Donovan. Is there any amendments or changes anybody would like to add? How do we vote? Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Massey?
No.
One thing I would like to add is, because it is a record and it has been requested to discuss this council person why I am making that decision.
And Mr. Nelson,
yes,
you might want to allow Mr. Mayor to indicate that we're moving on to the final topic in the agenda.
So that session is done, so we'll move on to the final one, which is discussion of potential action regarding competent performance, in particular employee held in open session. This is pursuant, all of this is in open session due to the pursuant of the employee's request for this to be in open session, just so everybody is aware.
all right. Based on the independent investigation and other factors, reason one for Councilman Nelson is a failure to ensure completion of annual audits, failure to reconcile multiple town accounts, some for 2 years, which ultimately has led to our $400,000 difference between what was in QuickBooks, what's in the bank accounts. Number two, failure to notify PKS, the town's current accounting firm, and execute audit-related tasks issued and commanded by council. 3, failure to provide council members with records requested to make accurate decisions. 4, evidence from the investigation that Janet Todd had stole over $13,000 in overtime and wages from the town. As a side note, corruption, that's a term that often gets thrown around. Corruption is when a public official, which the town manager does qualify, uses that position to gain monetarily or personally. Number 5, behaved unprofessionally towards staff and council members on multiple occasions. 6, lied about the K-9 and K-9 program to mayor and council, requiring council to delay and revisit the K-9 program for months. 7, failed to act on critical information on a complaint on town personnel. 8, sought special favors from land developers regarding hunting access for a family member. 9, provided false allegations against council members of harassment and retaliation in an effort to avoid providing requested information by the said council members about audits, finances, and basic town matters. 10, remove town records from the town that are confidential or internal, such as, including but not limited to, FOIA information, financial information, police department information, town solicitor correspondence, and insurance records.
Would you like to say anything, Mr. Moran?
I have no comment at this time.
Mr. Donovan?
I just based my decision on the report we got from the independent investigator.
And I also want to make this very clear, all of this, these are facts. These came from the independent investigator that we have hired. We are basing decisions not off hearsay, not off assumptions. We are basing all of these decisions off of what the independent investigator said in his report. I want to acknowledge the seriousness of the findings from the recent investigation. They revealed that there are significant reasons to believe that critical information was withheld from council, that financial procedures were ignored, and that actions were taken that did not align with the trust placed in that office. These conclusions were based on evidence from the investigation conducted by an independent investigator, not politics, not personal motives, and not rumor. I also need to address something else that's important. Since the investigation began, Additional concerning information has continued to surface, information that was not part of the formal investigation report but still impacts this town. We have learned of actions taken after the town manager was already suspended, including an attempt to interfere with or cancel the permit for Greenwood Day. We have also discovered payroll irregularities, not only involving the former town manager, but also involving how vacation and leave time has been maintained with all employees. These issues were not included in the original investigation, but they are now being reviewed so they can be addressed appropriately and transparently. This is why oversight matters. This is why checks and balances matter. And this is why transparency, true transparency, is essential. When I ran for mayor 11 months ago, transparency was at the heart of my campaign. Unfortunately, during the investigation, I was legally prevented from speaking publicly. That silence was required to protect the integrity of the process. But I know that left a void, and in that void, rumors grew. Accusations were thrown at me and council. People claimed that we in council had a personal vendetta. Others suggested I came into the office with an agenda to remove specific individuals. Let me be very clear tonight. None of that was true. Not one word. There was no agenda. There was only a desire to review the evidence, and unfortunately, the evidence led us in this situation. I also need to address something that's extremely and deeply upsetting. Not just as your mayor, but as someone who cares about this community. Some of the most damaging rumors, the most misleading comments, and the most harmful accusations did not come from random residents or social media trolls. They came from individuals appointed to our town boards, people who were entrusted to support this town's stability and integrity and were instead contributing to misinformation, division, and outright falsehoods about myself, about the council, and about the process we were legally required to follow. That behavior is unacceptable. It undermines trust. It spreads fear, and it disrespects every resident of Greenwood who rightly expects honesty from those who serve this town. Tonight, I want everyone to hear this very clearly. The council and I have done our jobs. We followed the law, we are following the facts, and we acted to protect this community and your tax dollars. The issues uncovered may very well have saved this town from much far greater financial harm. And from this point forward, we are strengthening internal controls, improving oversight, and making sure that failures that allow these problems to occur are corrected. We are committed to ensuring Greenwood's government operates with integrity and accountability at every level. This has been a very difficult chapter, but it does not define us. What defines us is how we move forward, stronger, wiser, and more united. Greenwood deserves honesty. Greenwood deserves stability. And Greenwood deserves leaders who put truth above personal ties and community above politics. I also want to address a concern that I know many residents have, and that's the cost of this investigation. Let me be absolutely clear. The money spent was not an expense made to hurt the town. It was an investment made to protect it. The purpose of this investigation was to uncover the truth, identify wrongdoing, and prevent further financial loss. And the findings showed that without taking action, Greenwood could have faced far greater costs, not just financially, but in the stability and the trust of our local government. This investigation helped us stop financial practices that were costing the town money, identify payroll and oversight issues that could have continued unchecked, uncover apparent actions that, if ignored, could have exposed the town to legal and financial risk, and ultimately protect taxpayer dollars from further misuse. In other words, choosing not to investigate would have been far more expensive in the long run. I understand that no one likes to see the town spend money on something like this, and neither do I. But when there are serious concerns involving public funds, ignoring them is not an option. Our responsibility is to confront the problem directly, fix it, and prevent it from happening again. And that is exactly what this process has allowed us to do. This investigation was not just a cost, it was a safeguard. It ensures that Greenwood's future is more secure, more transparent, and more accountable. I also want to address the budget concerns because transparency is our finances is critical for this community. One of the major issues we faced when I came in office was that our financial books have not been properly reconciled since 2019. That means for almost 6 years now, the town does not have fully updated or verified financial records. When your books are not reconciled, you cannot accurately track spending. You cannot properly plan a budget. and you cannot ensure taxpayer dollars are accounted for the way they should be. This is why we made the decision to bring Luff and Associates on board, which they are doing a fantastic job at trying to get our books reconciled. This was not optional, it was necessary. Their job is to review and correct the 6 years of unreconciled financial activity, identify any discrepancy or errors, help us get an accurate and trustworthy financial picture, ensure we can build responsible and honest budget moving forward. This step was taken to protect the financial health of the town, not to burden it. Without an accurate budget and clean books, we cannot make good decisions, we cannot plan responsibly, and we cannot safeguard the future of Greenwood. Hiring Luff and Associates is part of our commitment to restoring transparency, strengthening oversight, and make sure that every dime of taxpayer money is properly accounted for. It is investment in stability, accuracy, and trust, all of which Greenwood deserves. I also want to address the issues that, while we address these issues and take responsibility for moving forward, it is equally important to recognize that people have kept this town running during some of the most challenging months we have faced. Our current employees have done excellent work in the wake of these issues. Carolyn, our town clerk, has stepped up with professionalism, accuracy, and dedication. Rhiannon, our interim town manager, has handled an enormous responsibility with integrity and steadiness. Chief Walton, our chief of police, has been a pillar of stability and leadership throughout this entire process. Their efforts and their efforts of many others show that Greenwood is not broken. Greenwood is working hard, working honestly, and working for its residents every single day. In closing, let me finish by saying this. Greenwood will not only survive this moment, we will come out of it stronger than before. If these issues had remained hidden, if we had not taken action, this town would have been facing major financial disarray in the very near future. Instead, we faced the truth head on, we took responsibility, we acted, and we acted in time. Now we can rebuild the right way, with stronger controls, restored accuracy, and a government worthy of the people it serves. This town is resilient, this town is united, and this town will move forward. We are not defined by the problems we uncovered, we are defined by what we do next, and what we do next is grow. Greenwood will not fall apart, Greenwood will not be shaken. Greenwood will rise, rebuild, move forward, stronger, smarter, and more secure than ever. Mr. Massey, anything to say?
I wanna look her in the face. If I'm gonna vote to dismiss a person, I should go look them in the face. That's why I voted the way I did.
We also want to make it known, I want to make it very clear, Miss Todd, she still has a right to request a hearing regarding the charges and proposed discipline. This purpose of the hearing is to provide the opportunity to present information that she believes is relevant to the findings. And this is just a part of the due process that we are obligated to have her follow, so. Anything else?
I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn by Mr.
Second.
Donovan, second by Mr. Moran. How do you vote, Mr. Massey? Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Adjourn.